What's an unwritten rule in your household that would seem bizarre to outsiders? In our house, nobody is allowed to whistle after midnight, ever. Not even for a joke. Especially not for a joke. People think it's a weird superstition until they stay over. Then they stop laughing. The rule started 12 years ago, a few weeks after my husband and I bought our first house. It was old, built in the 1940s, needed a lot of work. The previous owner was an elderly man who moved into assisted living. As we were signing the papers, his daughter handed me the keys and said something strange. If you hear whistling at night, don't answer it. I laughed. She didn't. I should have paid more attention. A few nights after moving in, my husband woke me up around 2 a.m. Do you hear that? At first I didn't. Then I heard it. Someone was whistling, very softly. 3 short notes, then silence. Then the same 3 notes again. It sounded like it was coming from our backyard. My husband went to the window. Nothing. No people. No cars. No movement. The whistling stopped. We forgot about it. A week later, my brother came to help us paint. That night we heard the same whistling again. As a joke, my brother whistled back. Immediately, the sound stopped completely. The house became so quiet it almost hurt. Then there was a knock. 3 knocks. From our back door. At 2 in the morning, nobody was there. The next day, my brother got a phone call. His business partner had emptied their joint account and disappeared. Coincidence? Probably. At least that's what we told ourselves. Then my mother visited. She heard the whistling and laughed at our haunted house nonsense. She whistled back. The next morning, she slipped on her front steps and broke her wrist. Again, maybe a coincidence. Then my teenage cousin stayed over. He heard the story and thought it was hilarious. At exactly midnight, he stood in the kitchen and whistled as loudly as possible. Nothing happened. He spent the next hour making fun of us. Then he went to bed. At 3 in the morning, I woke up to screaming. We ran upstairs. He was sitting bolt upright in bed, white as a sheet. He kept pointing at the corner of the room. He was standing there. Who? The man who was whistling. He refused to sleep in the house again. A year passed. The rule became normal. No whistling after midnight. Simple. Our kids grew up with it. They never questioned it. Then my daughter turned 7. One night she heard the sound. 3 soft notes. She looked at me and asked, "Why is Grandpa outside?" I felt my blood run cold. My father had died 3 years earlier. She'd never heard him whistle. I asked what she meant. She looked confused. The man outside sounds exactly like Grandpa. I didn't sleep at all that night. A few months later, I finally asked our neighbor about the house. She looked uncomfortable. Then she said, "Oh, you don't know. Apparently the original owner had a son. The boy disappeared in the woods behind the house in 1952. For weeks, the father walked the property every night, whistling the same 3 notes, hoping his son would whistle back. They never found him. After the father died, neighbors claimed they still heard whistling from the backyard. Always 3 notes. Always after midnight. I wish that was the end. It isn't. Last year, my son's college roommate stayed with us during Thanksgiving. Around 1 in the morning, he heard the sound. He smiled. Someone's outside. Before we could stop him, he whistled back. Everything went silent. Then we heard it. 3 knocks. At the back door. He thought we were pranking him and opened it. Nobody was there. But our motion light had turned on. And there were muddy footprints on the porch. 1 set. Bare feet. Leading to the door. None leading away. My son's roommate laughed it off. The next morning, he packed his bags early and left. Before he drove away, he pulled me aside. He looked terrified. Then he asked, "How long has the man in your backyard been standing at your kitchen window?" I didn't answer, because I hadn't seen anyone. He swallowed hard. I didn't want to wake anyone up, but he was there all night. That was 6 months ago. Now here's the truly bizarre part. Since then, the whistling has changed. It used to be only 3 notes. Now sometimes there are 4. And last week, my youngest son asked me a question that I still can't answer. He looked out the back window and said, "Mom, when did Grandpa learn our whistle?"